As we pivot back to the United Nations General Assembly and all of the headlines that come out of that very big world meeting. So today, the Secret Service revealed they dismantled the plot targeting senior U.S. government officials while those high-level UN meetings happen in New York. So let's go live to CBS News Homeland Security correspondent Nicole Sganga. Nicole, what are the findings here? What do you know?
Yeah, crazy story. The U.S. Secret Service discovered a SIM farm, basically a telecommunications network so powerful it could text 30 million people in 1 minute, Reed, potentially overwhelming and even shutting down New York City's entire cellular network. Now, it all started back in the spring when, as you mentioned, White House officials, including protectees of the U.S. Secret Service, were targeted with anonymous threats over the phone. Secret Service traced those telephone threats to multiple sites in the New York tri-state area, and hidden in abandoned apartment buildings were more than 100,000 SIM cards connected to roughly 300 servers. Now, investigators also found computers, phones, illegal guns, even 80 grams of cocaine. And law enforcement briefed on the investigation tells us that multiple foreign governments were using these very networks to communicate with known members of organized crime gangs, including drug cartels and human trafficking rings. They're yet to reveal just exactly which nations were behind this, but the servers were found at more than 5 sites, and all of them were within 35 miles of the UN General Assembly. Now, no arrests have been made so far, but the investigation's ongoing. Secret Service says there's no longer a threat to New York or the UN General Assembly.
Yeah, you show those abandoned apartment buildings and all of the technology there. It's pretty astounding to think that this was going on. Score one for the investigators. Want to ask you about another investigation, of course, the aftermath of that now closed investigation into border czar Tom Homan in face of those bribery allegations that have been widely reported. As you reported, Homan was reportedly recorded last year accepting a bag of cash by undercover FBI agents who were posing as businessmen. So is there any indication that this is not the last that we'll hear of this, or is it just case closed?
In this town, we'll hear more about this, Reed. Both House and Senate Democrats have opened up separate investigations into the Trump administration's decision to close this FBI criminal inquiry into Tom Homan. In a letter just written yesterday, Democrats, as part of the House Judiciary Committee, demanded that Attorney General Pam Bondi, that FBI Director Kash Patel hand over all of the relevant recordings, all of their investigative material, any communications between the White House and the Department of Justice. Today, a group of Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee also sent a very similar letter. Now, in a Fox News appearance, we did hear from Homan. He denied any criminal wrongdoing, but there are still more questions, and administration officials have said the White House border czar was not involved in any decisions on awarding contracts. But keep in mind, Tom Homan, he holds this very powerful role, Reed, one that oversees agencies with serious money right now. I mean, Congress's big, beautiful bill, passed into law and signed by the president, allocates about $170 billion to support the Trump administration's border and immigration goals. So there's concern there.
Concern, and now the determination to follow the money. Nicole Sganga, always great to talk to you. We appreciate your reporting.